What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about and breaking down a specific lure, and that lure is the jig. I've been getting asked questions about them, about how I work them, what trailers to use with them, and stuff like that. We'll be answering all them and then doing some fishing with it later on in the video to show you guys I'm not lying. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So I got some different types of jigs laid out here. Let's take a look. And I'm including chatterbaits because they look the same and some people who are new might not know the difference. So these are the jigs I usually go with. These are called, more specifically, swim jigs. More specifically than that, these are the OutKast Pro Swim Jigs with the weed guard. I always get jigs with the weed guard because when I'm fishing jigs, I use them to take advantage of structure. So if I'm on a little stream or even if I'm on my kayak or whatever and I spot a piece of structure where I think bass might be at, I'm casting at least 10 times into every single gap in between the branches, both sides, all around, every single hole in that cover I can hit with the jig. So the weed guards help that a little bit, but it also makes it so you have to pay attention a lot more because once this hook gets stuck, you start reeling in or lifting your rod, it's in there. So color wise, for the most part, I stick to these like green pumpkin with little pops of color like orange, red, or a bluegill pattern to match different sunfish that might be in that body of water. A dark black and blue, and this is a chatterbait, but I also like to keep a white on me. Basically, a good rule of thumb, color-wise, what you should be throwing is if you're in clear water where you can see, throw a dark color. If you're in muddy water, throw a light color. Which leads me to my next point, which is trailers. So trailers like these are what I like to throw in deep or dark waters. Trailers like these are what I would throw in shallow or clear water. And then it also really helps if you can get your trailer to match the color of the jig almost perfectly or as close as you can. So something like this would be good. And then something like this could still work, but it's not as good. If that makes sense. You can also throw it without a trailer. But as far as retrieving them, you can just straight reel it in and it'll be like this in the water. You can just and jig your rod and it'll be like, and the trailer will also add motion. The swim baits will go like this. The craw will flap their arms as it falls, which will entice a bass. Typically, the fall is what's gonna get the bass, but they'll come up like as it's falling. They'll like close in on it, and then it'll sit still. They'll kind of look at it for a second, and then we lift it up again. It's just like their natural reaction whenever you pull it away from them to then chase it and eat it. But yeah, you could just reel it straight in fast as you want. I typically like to throw jigs whenever I want to slow it down, so I don't usually go with just like a straight rip it in, retrieve. If I wanted to do that, I would use like a crankbait or something. You can slowly jig it like that, and then you wait like 5-10 seconds, jig it again, reel your slack in. I'm going to show you guys how I like to fish it. What I'm doing is dragging it a little bit and just coming, and then I stop, let it fall. Then I reel in my slack and it drags along the bottom, kicks up some dust, maybe annoys some bass, maybe make them mad. Then lift it up, goes again, falls, knocks some dust around, and yeah, that's how I like to retrieve it. So I just pull my rod in a little bit, let it sit, let it sink, reel my slack in, pull my rod again. That's how I like to fish them. And it works for me too. Another thing you could look into is rattling jigs. They have these little rattlers on them. I don't think they work as well as a regular jig, but one thing I have noticed, some of the spots I go to, when the bass are being super picky, I don't know if the sound just annoys them or something, but I'm usually able to get a bite or two at least whenever they're not eating anything else. But without any farther talking, let's get into some fishing. We're out here today, gonna be doing some jigging for bass. Got my brother with me. He just tried to poke me in the ass with his rod. Somebody left some power bait here, but we're at the spot. We got the St. Croix Bass X with the Shimano Stratic Gomex's handle. Let's get into some jigging. Boom, doubled up, first cast each. Each got a bass. Just like that. On what jig? A little heavy cover bluegill jig. A little light duty bluegill jig. We got to get these guys back though. Chill out, bruh. All right, we got a bigger one on that same jig. Let's get them back. See it going off? Mm-hmm. It's 2 and 2 casts. This tutorial was requested in my comments. I'm gonna tag the person who asked for it, but they asked me to show how I fish a jig. So we got this little OutKast Pro Swim Jig with a Mooch Minnow as a trailer tied on. And when I'm walking up to a spot, I know that a jig is a lure that's meant to be thrown into cover and stuff. So I'm looking for weeds and stuff like this up here, even that tree over there, or that down log over there. And this is how I like to work a jig. Throw it out there, and then let it sink to the bottom. Reel in your slack a little bit, and just drag it up like that, and do the same thing. You can also, if you want to, you can pop it like that and twitch it around, but I find that I get more bites the slower that I work jigs compared to just ripping them around fast. Boom, we just got another one on the same jig. Alright, damn. Chill out. I just had another one and he flopped off right here at the bank. Boom, after 2 in a row just got off on me, I finally got one. Boom. It's a nice bass. Get her back. Boom, another bass hit the jig. This one's pretty small. Actually really small, especially for a spawning female, but let's get her back.